Hey there. I want to talk about something that can be surprisingly difficult to recognize while you're living inside it. Years of being hard on yourself, not just occasionally, not just after a mistake, but so consistently that it starts feeling normal. So normal, in fact, that you stop questioning it. You assume this is just how you are, someone who pushes themselves, someone who expects more from themselves, someone who refuses to settle. And at first, that might even seem like a strength, because self-criticism often disguises itself as self-improvement. It tells you it's helping you stay motivated, helping you avoid mistakes, helping you become better. But after enough years, something begins to happen. The voice that was supposed to push you forward starts following you everywhere. Every achievement comes with a reminder of what could have been done better. Every success is quickly followed by a new expectation. Every mistake feels larger than it needs to be, and every difficult season becomes evidence that you're somehow falling short. So even when good things happen, you struggle to enjoy them because part of you is already focused on the next problem to solve, the next flaw to fix, the next reason you need to improve. And that's exhausting. Not because growth is exhausting, but because you've spent so much time treating yourself like a project that needs constant correction, instead of a person who is allowed to be learning. I think one of the hardest parts about recovering from self-criticism is realizing how familiar it has become. You know how to criticize yourself. You've practiced it for years. You know how to replay mistakes. You know how to focus on shortcomings. You know how to hold yourself responsible for everything that went wrong. What feels unfamiliar is kindness, patience, understanding. Not because those things are wrong, but because they haven't been your default. And sometimes when people begin treating themselves more gently, they worry they're becoming lazy, like compassion will somehow remove accountability, like being understanding toward yourself means lowering your standards. But those things are not the same. You can take responsibility for your actions without attacking yourself. You can learn from mistakes without turning them into proof of your worth. You can grow without constantly feeling inadequate. The truth is, most lasting growth doesn't come from self-hatred. It comes from self-awareness, from honesty, from being willing to look at yourself clearly without immediately turning that observation into a criticism. And that takes practice, especially if you've spent years believing that harshness was the price of becoming better. Because eventually, you realize something important. The goal was never to become perfect. The goal was to become more whole, more honest, more at peace with being a human being who is still learning. And human beings are not finished products. They're not meant to be. They're constantly changing, constantly growing, constantly discovering things about themselves, including you. So if you're in the process of recovering from years of being your own harshest critic, be patient with that process too. There will be days when old patterns return, days when that familiar voice becomes louder again. That doesn't mean you failed. It simply means you're learning a new way of relating to yourself, one that isn't built entirely on judgment, one that leaves room for mistakes, one that recognizes effort, one that understands that growth and kindness can exist together. And maybe that's where healing begins. Not when you finally become everything you want to be, but when you stop believing you have to earn your own understanding first. When you stop treating yourself like an opponent and start treating yourself like someone who's been carrying a very heavy standard for a very long time. Someone who deserves the same patience they're so willing to offer everyone else. And maybe, little by little, that's how you begin coming home to yourself again.